we like to think of judges as being like these impartial arbiters of law, but clearly they're not. Is there, I mean, I know you can't probably prove anything, but can you speculate about, are they somehow in on it? Are they getting on the take somehow? Like, is there some of the you scratch my back, I scratch yours going on? What do you think?
So I watched my judge a lot over the 2 years that the case was pending. And I think he's a really good guy and he does try his best. But there were several cases where he basically said, I'm a yes man and I want to rule this way, but I will get in trouble. So I'm going to rule this way and you have my empathy. And so at the end of my court case, he warned me, he threatened me and told me to stop making allegations of government corruption and that, bad things would happen if I continue to make these allegations of government corruption. And I don't think he threatened me because he was a bad guy. I think he threatened me because he was genuinely concerned about my well-being and warning me I was going to he actually said, Mrs. Grab, you're a nice person and you have a nice family, because my family always came to court with us. And so I think he was trying to tell me, hey, you're putting your family in danger by making these allegations of corruption. So I think basically, he's works for the state of California and he knows if he goes against his employer, he's going to get fired or in trouble, or there's going to be retribution if he goes against his employer. So he didn't have any choice in the matter if he wanted to keep his job, right? Or not be retaliated against somehow. And, he was close to retirement age. Obviously, you need to protect the state of California's revenue source if you're going to retire. Like, he needed to make sure his retirement money was there, that he didn't rule in a way that would affect their ability to collect revenue or like reduce the amount of revenue that they collected. So yeah, he was a yes man. And I think they have to be yes men in order to keep their jobs.
And I noticed on your blog too, that you actually have a disclaimer saying, I'm not suicidal, I don't drink, I don't take any drugs. Like, I mean, yeah, we could get a ha-ha out of that, but like, have you, to your knowledge, experienced any sort of retaliation, or is that just like a precautionary thing?
The Department of Justice did post my and my husband's social security numbers on the internet. They have retaliated against us. So, I mean, that was clear retaliation when they posted me and my husband's social security numbers. And it sent a clear message. The message was, we did this. So I had sent the evidence that the Franchise Tax Board submitted in the case. I took it, I highlighted the accounting fraud, and I refiled it with the courts with all the highlights and an explanation of how the fraud worked. But I also sent it to the California Auditor's Office and the FBI and the Department of Revenue, Federal Department of Revenue. And I filed a federal criminal complaint against 2 of the FTB staff who told me to send more money than the bill said was due. And then they falsified their internal records to make it look like that was always the amount of money due. So the Department of Justice responded by filing. So the Department of Justice was the attorney for FTB in the Superior Court case. Okay. So the Department of Justice responded by filing a motion for sanctions, saying that I should have to pay $8,000 as punishment for turning them into authorities. And that she wanted the judge to order me to stop collecting evidence of accounting fraud. And so in that motion for sanctions, she posted me and my husband's social security numbers, but she didn't have them. She got them from FTB, and FTB is known for doing this. They've actually had to pay sanctions and penalties in other cases for exposing social security numbers as well. So this is a known harassment tool of the Franchise Tax Board, and the DOJ and the Franchise Tax Board conspired together to use it on me. But the thing is like, they said it was an accident, or inadvertent was the word, that the actual word was inadvertent. But FTB inadvertently gave her our social security numbers. And then she was required by law to send me the motion for sanctions 21 days prior to filing it with the court, so that I could rectify it without it having to go through the court system. But she didn't. She sent it to me after she filed it. So if she had followed the law and sent it to me prior, I would have caught the social security numbers and had to redact them or, omit them before she submitted it to the court. But she submitted to the court first. So she broke protocol. So there's no way it was an accident. Too many people made too many mistakes. Like, yeah, it was definitely not an accident.